If I should stay, I would only be in your way, so I'll go, but I know I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will always love you. Will always love you. You, my darling, you. Bittersweet memories, that is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye, please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need. Life treats you kind, and I hope you have all you dreamed of, and I wish you joy and happiness, but above all this, I wish you love. Darling, I love you. Ooh, I'll always love you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Rhonda Livingstone, and I'm a civil celebrant. I have been given the privilege of leading this farewell service, and today we gather to celebrate the life of a truly remarkable woman who was known to her friends and family as June. However, I am told born with the name Dorothy. She never liked that name, and from a young age, and as a testament to her strength and individuality, she insisted on being called June. And her love for life and her love for her family her love for adventure are just a few of the many qualities that made her special. Our opening music track by Whitney Houston was a gentle, sentimental song chosen by Jim and reflecting his lasting love of this wonderful woman. I would now like to welcome and acknowledge all those who are watching our service online, as your presence is also deeply appreciated. Today, we're in a place that holds a special significance in the life of June and in the lives of those who loved her. For June, this location was more than just a familiar spot. It was a place where she made countless precious memories, working here alongside her daughter Cheryl, her niece Rosie, laughing and chatting as they went about their daily tasks. Many memories shared here. And I would now like to take a moment just to acknowledge all of those who have joined us wearing a fur coat, in honour of June's love for these beautiful and timeless pieces. And for those who have donned a fur coat today, I want to say thank you for your thoughtful tribute, and it is very special for June's family. And we are now gathered to perform a very difficult task, both to mourn, to remember, and to celebrate June's life. In the course of her 79 years, she's been a companion to all of you through a bond of family, love, friendship, leisure, neighbours, or perhaps you are here today to support a family member. And we must draw strength, courage from each other. June's sharing and caring ways will be remembered by you all. And however, although death may end a life, it will never end the relationship that you have shared with her. There are no words when we lose a loved one. And naturally today there is much sadness, but June's memory will live on, enriching, guiding and blessing all of your lives. And our hearts reach out now to June's family, especially her loving husband Jim, married for 37 years, and her children, stepchildren and their partners, Michael and Carol, Cheryl and David, Cheryl and Alan, Wendy and Andy, and Jenny and Pud, deceased. June was also the loving sister of Susie, Les, Linny and Johnny, fond auntie to her nieces and nephews, and shared a special relationship with her niece Rosie. It is also important to remember the special bond that June shared as the adored Nana to Paige, Josh, Tori, Zach, Kayla and Tyes, and much loved great Nana to Jordan, Miller, Maggie, Phoebe, Kobe, Bobby, Jai and Tommy. And as well, we think of all the other people that have been important in June's life, and all of you, everyone that is here today. And June's kind heart and caring ways will be remembered by all of you. Some of life's hardest moments occur when we're mourning the loss of a loved one. And it is said the grief which follows can be likened to the ocean. It will come in waves. Sometimes the water will be calm, but sometimes it will be overwhelming. And remember that bereavement unravels like a piece of cloth, the fabric of our lives over time. So it is important to remember today to grieve in your own way and to heal in your own time. Family was very important to June. It was her life. So today, please find solace in the fond memories that you all shared with her, and may her legacy of love and devotion now live on through her children, her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren, and to all those who were touched by her presence. And may her spirit of kindness and warmth and unwavering love continue to surround and protect her family in the very difficult days ahead. To reflect the love of her family and in her memory, I would now like to share with you our first reading, aptly titled Legacy of Love, listed in your order of service. A wife, a mother, our Nana and great Nana too. This is the legacy we have from you. You taught us love and how to fight. You gave us strength. You gave us might. a stronger person would be hard to find, and in your heart, you were always kind. You fought for us all in one way or another, not just as a wife, not just as a mother. For all of us, you gave your best. Now the time has come for you to rest. So go in peace, you've earned your sleep. Your love in our hearts will eternally keep. Lovely choice of poems there, beautiful words capturing June's personality. And today, as well as music and photo memories, candles help us remember those that we have lost, and once alight, show our hearts smiling. As we celebrate June's life today, and in the words we have just heard reflected in our poem, I would like to ask Joanne, a very special person in June's life, to please now come forward and light the 4 candles displayed on the memory table. Each candle represents a different aspect of June's life, the different roles that she has played throughout her life as a loving wife, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Thank you so much, Joanne. The lighted candles now represent grief, the pain of loss today, and courage to confront your sorrow, comfort each other. They are alight in June's memory now for the times that you have all laughed and cried with her. And as we reflect today, we want to acknowledge the many ways in which June touched the lives of all of her family. She was a kind person. She made everyone feel they were the most important person in the world. And as we say our final goodbyes, we do so knowing that her memory will live on in all of our hearts, now shining brightly like the candles. And immediately now, our thoughts turn to June's character. What kind of person was she? Bright, cheerful person, lit up the room with her presence. She had a great sense of humour, and her love for her family was evident in everything she did. She loved spoiling them with fur coats, and her warmth and generosity extended far beyond material gifts. There's no doubt she was dedicated to Jim. They shared a wonderful marriage, wonderful togetherness. They enjoyed fishing trips together, both on the river and the lake, many family functions and occasional meals at the clubs. They also shared a love of holidays at their on-site caravan at Goffs Bay, showing June's commitment to the things that mattered most. On a personal level, she enjoyed taking care of others, loved cooking for her family, loved all animals, and was passionate about gardening, especially growing geraniums. She was also dedicated to the Bombers footy team, loved to sunbake for many, many years, till very recently, enjoyed following a couple of soapy TV programs, was a champion netball player and coach, being a true natural competitor. June's varied career path, mainly cooking, also included breeding greyhounds as well as other job roles. She was a lovely person, inside and out, with a warm heart and a very kind spirit. And of course, these are only some of the things you will recall when you start thinking about June today. No one will fit into her shoes, but the influence of her strength and character will live on in the acts and thoughts of everyone that is here today. And to now continue painting our picture of June, I would like to ask her sister Linny to please come forward and share with us June's life story, to be followed by some fond memories of her niece Rosie. Thank you, Linny.
There we go. Thank you. I can't even find what I've written.
I didn't bring my
Sorry,
glasses.
it's here. I don't need them. This is a take on my wonderful sister. Born Dorothy June Cole, 23rd of October 44 to the 19th of May 2024 at St Vincent's Hospital, North Melbourne. With a heavy heart, I would like just to say a few words about my wonderful sister Junie. June or Junie, but never call her Dot or Dorothy. Mostly people would have never known that she was named Dorothy. Early days was pretty tough, with our mother leaving us at very young ages. Junie stood up and seemed to manage us even though she was only 6 years and a few months old. She continued to mostly manage me throughout my whole life, and I always counted on her. She never hesitated to get me back on track. She was my rock. Thank you, Junie. I must tell you a short story. Junie got expelled from St Mary's Catholic School after completing almost 9 years. The story goes like this. The Reverend Mother always seemed to be giving Junie a hard time. She was telling Dad time after time and again, and so one night Dad said, well, next time she's giving it to you, tell her to get you know what. And of course Junie did exactly that the very next day. As you know, she was never backward in coming forward. Hence, she was expelled and the rest of us were taken out of the school. She went on to go to Scott's Business College. Susie went to a really good Catholic school in North Melbourne. Poor old Wacker and me had to go to Ascot Vale West State School with those kids who we had to gravel with most mornings on our way to school. You know, the Catholic kids against the state school kids. Yep, thanks for that too, Junie. Horse riding. Junie and I rode all over Victoria. Horse riding she loved, especially the novelty events. And one of the many she did was the wheelbarrow. How it worked was, all riders lined up, jumped to a start, and she rode hard and fast, just like Annie Oakley style, approximately 200 metres. Then she would jump off her horse, throw me in the wheelbarrow, and I mean throw. She would then take off to the winning line with me scared shitless. Mostly she would win because not too many could run as fast as her. She did a lot of athletic training at Royal Park. She had a real talent for sprinting and not too many could beat her. But then Dad got rubbed out of horse racing for doping a horse. Are you surprised? Anyway, that's another story and sadly the end of Junie's athletic career. No doubt someone else can fill you in on Dad's doping career. Well, then we found Dad found a property in Panton Hill and away we went again. Up there she had a few boyfriends but finally ended up with Mick Howard, who she married and had 2 beautiful children, Michael and Cheryl. Michael being a fantastic father and a very talented AFL footballer and coach, Cheryl a wonderful mother and has ran Otteray Lodge kitchen services for many, many years with a passion after taking it over from Junie who ran it for 20 years or more. Michael and Cheryl went on to give Junie 6 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren. She always worked very hard with numerous jobs. She could do anything and did so to support Mick and her kids. What she did, she always did well. She had many friends but always managed to keep to herself. I think that is a cold trait. Later on in life, the one job she loved was working for Rosie at Rich Glen. She loved Rosie, and Rosie was very good to her. Thank you, Rosie. She married Jimmy Roberts and has had a beautiful relationship with that wonderful man. She totally adored him and he her. Thank you for loving her, Jimmy. Today is our final farewell to one special human being. We love you, but you will never be missed. You will be missed, but never forgotten. Love you. Thank you.
Oh, forgot my glasses, but anyway, I think I'll be all right. Thanks everyone for coming today. It's so beautiful to see everyone here, and it was only fitting that we brought Auntie Junie here. When I kind of ran home to get dressed, I thought, God, what am I going to wear, and went out to the flat and found this, and I'm like, well, where else am I going to wear this? She would have said to me, shagadelic, and you're only as old as the man you're feeling. Always love that, So Auntie Junie, my mum's sister, so many words can describe her. She was a hottie, constantly told her that. She was hilarious. She was such a homebody, with Jimmy and the family. She was courageous. She was kind. She was pretty, hardworking. She was fiercely loyal, honest, and so proud of her family. I loved all of your sayings. The way you dressed, your lashes and your immaculate hair. She was always, just before service here at the farm, it was like, run into the office, ring Jimmy, make sure he had his tablets, go and comb her hair and get ready for service. I loved being Auntie Junie's niece. Our family shared lots of great memories, like walking the greyhounds in Mernda, sunbaking at the river. There was so much of that. Milking the cows out at Catamatite, riding the motorbikes, and endless days playing in the pool at Healy Road. I guess what I'm most grateful for is the decade we had as a close relationship working at Otway Lodge and here at Rich Glen. I think, there's a few girls here and men, that are, Junie touched their hearts in a very special way, because every morning it was a, hello, good morning, a big hug and a kiss. And that was pretty much for everyone. Is that right? Yeah. Was for everyone. I love seeing her drive in the old ute or the limo, sitting up on all that stack of cushions. She'd open the boot, there'd be eggs, tightly wrapped in their rubber bands, and she'd have pot plants, her rosemary and her geraniums, and always giving them away to the team. She was the life of the place, really. Everyone wanted a piece of her, constantly coming into the kitchen and, tell me that story again. We booked out the theatre here in Yarrawonga one night for 50 Shades of Grey. And thank God it was just us, because she was hilarious and everyone was in fits of laughter with her constant comments. It was bloody hilarious. She loved having she always had to drink out of a bone china teacup and a matching saucer. If you dished her up anything else, she'd tip it down the sink, get her Twinings teacup bag and start again. She always had a jelly cake, even though she was lactose intolerant, but she smothered it with cream. I saw her do it many occasions. She was such a creature of habit. She'd walk in the door with her Coke bottle full of milk. I don't know how many lip balms she always had, and, the call to Jimmy, the endless supply of banana bread and apple slice when you're sick or feeling a bit down. What was really special was the way you made us all feel. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you both, Linny and Rosie, for sharing those wonderful memories of June, and I'm sure there'll be many more stories to be had as the day progresses. And in many ways, life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, some are exciting, but if you never turn the page, you'll never know what the next chapter has in store for you. June always turned the next page with a zest for life, and with her passing, a page of history in the last page of her book has now closed. And the memories of her life are the greatest possession that we now have, especially little things such as the real mark she may have left upon you, a hug or a smile, timely word of advice. And the family has captured the wealth of those memories today in a visual presentation as part of our service. So I will ask everyone to observe a few moments' silence and a time for quiet thought. Perhaps now turn back some of the pages of June's book, and whilst viewing the photo presentation, please recall the many fun, happy times that each of you have shared with June personally.
Okay, this one's for Gabby.
How do you do? They really say
myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I?
There were some wonderful images there, memories of June that will remain with you all. And it reminds us that what you leave behind is not words engraved in a stone monument, but that which is woven into our lives. Throughout our service today, much has already been shared with you about June. However, we will continue to celebrate her life through some additional moving tributes from her family. Grandchildren and great-grandchildren were a highlight of her life. She was always there, a little bit of a mum, bit of a teacher, and a bit of a best friend to them all, a confidant and advisor, companion in whatever life brought their way. So as our first additional tribute, I would now like the grandchildren to please come forward and share some special messages with you all today.
So hi everyone, to those of you who don't know me, I'm Paige. I'm the eldest grandchild of June. I hadn't cried until now. No, it's okay. Me and my nan had a very special bond. Mum had always said that we were very much alike. We both have a temper, although I can't see that. We love the same things, including drinking tea out of fine china cups, cooking, sewing, knitting, and most of all, op shopping. Nan was a very keen op shopper, and my love for it came from her. We were always very excited to see what bargain we could discover, and after going to all the op shops in Yarra and Mulwala, we would get home well after lunchtime to Jim sitting in his chair, starving and ready to send out the search party. I have a number of items at home that come from the op shopping adventures that Nan would have, including a tea bag squeezer, a gravy boat and a turkey plate, even though I don't eat turkey. There were a few ways in which we were different. I didn't have the fiery presence on the netball court. My sister Kayla inherited that from both Nan and Mum. The other way in which we were different is that I don't parade around my backyard in just bikini bottoms. Nan was very affectionate. Whilst walking down the street, she would interlink her arm with ours. Being teenagers, we used to think this was uncool and try to get away from her. But as I got older, I embraced it. She even did it to my husband a few times, and the first time that she met him. Whenever we would leave Nan and Jim's, there was never a time that she would come out to the middle of the driveway and shout, "Love you," at the top of her lungs, while Jim was always covering his ears, embarrassed. Nan and Jim took care of me and Kayla while Mum was down in Melbourne. undergoing surgery and a recovery when I was 5.
Deep breath.
I used to spend so much time there. I used to call her Mum. I will forever be grateful for their love and support. And Nana's played a huge part in shaping who I am today. Okay, I've got this.
You got it.
In Nan's most recent admission to GP Health, I was lucky enough to spend the last hour of visiting hours sitting at her bedside, holding her hand and reminiscing. The memories we spoke about most was the time I was riding a Shetland pony around the paddock in Cobram East, and the pony started bucking me down the hill while Nan, Mum, Jim and Dad all watched in hysterics, crying with laughter. Thanks for the help, guys. Don't worry about me. The other was how we used to always go rabbiting and putting the ferrets down the rabbit holes, catching the rabbits with the nets. Nan always rugged us up in jackets, beanies, gloves and gumboots, and we would sit on the tray of the ute, enjoying a packed morning tea and the thermo of Milo that she'd made. And they were the two that she brought up every single time I saw her when she was in hospital. Okay, I'm nearly done.
You're there.
I'll never forget the moment that I rang Nan after having my second little girl, letting her know that her middle name was June. She started to cry with joy. She couldn't believe it, and I couldn't think of a better person to name my daughter after. She will live on within us forever. For someone who is so full of life, I am struggling to come to terms with you no longer being here. It still feels like you're only a phone call away. I'm forever grateful that you are my Nan, and you've left a hole that no one can fill. I love you, Nan, and I will cherish all of our memories and tell my girls about you often.
Don't go too far, because you might have to come back. So I'm going to give this a go. Right. Just breathe, Kayla. So, today has actually been one of the biggest fears of my life. No matter how much I said I loved her much more than that. I made the first sentence. She taught me how to be caring, to be kind, to be appreciative and loyal. But she also taught me how to throw a hip and shoulder on the netball court. And I actually, this isn't even in on here, but she actually used to be like, come on, Kayla, just give it one. And I'm like, Nan, I can't. I'll get sent off. But anyways, I could spend days talking about her. I'll forever bring her name up in conversation and will never spend a day without her on my mind. But one of the things I love about Nan the most is the amount of love she has for her family and especially her sweetness, Jim. It is fair to say that we had the best childhood because of them. The love they have for each other is a pure fairy tale. It's a love we all aspire to have. Some of us up here have found it and some of us are yet to. But they set the standards bloody high. She always told me never settle for anything less, and I hope that when I do, I can tell her I found myself a Jim. Okay. If Memory Lane was a place and I could pop it into my maps and drive there right now, I would drive to the farm at Cobram East, where we called home. When Nan and Jim lived in the house and we lived in the shack, I would go back to you walking us to the bus at the end of the drive and collect pine cones on the walk home. I would go to us riding the horses and collecting the eggs from the chooks, but I'd have to wait outside because Paige locked me in there and shook it, and now I'm still terrified to this day. I would go back to barty grubbing in the spare paddock I would go to your dirty water bucket we had to wash our feet in before we hopped in the pool. I would go peacock feather collecting. I would go to your house and be made to put slippers on when I walked in the door. I would go back to you singing to me always. I would go to your house for a sleepover, then wake up in your bed with your porridge served hot. I would go to when I'd come to you with a slight cough and you would get out your A to Z medical book out and diagnose me, usually fixed with a home remedy. I would go to our phone calls when I moved to Melbourne about how proud you were of me. But mainly about our chats about our beloved Essendon Bombers, mainly who was looking the best that night. I would go to many more places where my mind thinks of you, but I'll save the best for just us. She was a special blend of caring, loyal, and let's face it, a bit inappropriate. But that's what made her so unforgettable. She had a knack for making you feel welcome, whether it was a warm, long hug or a piece of unsolicited yet oddly accurate advice. She was fiercely loyal, always defended her family, even if it meant ruffling a few feathers. She believed in being honest, sometimes too honest, to the point of uncomfortable, and I had to block my ears. But that was her, and I'd never change that. It breaks my heart that you don't get to be here to witness me being a mum or watch me walk down the aisle. But I know you'll be watching over me, cheering me on, and I'll ensure you live through the stories I share and the values you instilled in me. Oh, nearly done. Nan, I'm going to miss you forever. I will spend the rest of my life missing you in big ways and small ways and medium ways. And always, I'm going to miss you. Not many things last forever, but missing people never ends. It's a beautiful thing because I'll never forget to keep missing you. Even when the gap between remembering and forgetting gets longer. But it's awful because you only have to miss someone when they're gone. It is arguably the worst sort of pain you've experienced in your life and the greatest reminder of gratitude for the place people have in your life. Like Nan would all want us to do is love deeply and appreciate the small things before they're gone.
Okay. Hi everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Tori and June was my nan. I'll be speaking on behalf of my brothers and sister, Josh, Zach and Tay, so it's a bit of a long one. One of my favourite things to do when I was up visiting Nan and Jimmy was to sit around in their sunroom and reminisce about all the good times we have had over the last 30 odd years. It would always put a smile on Nana's face and we would end up laughing our heads off over a cup of tea. So in honour of our Nan June, I'm going to share some of our favourite memories. Kayla and I did chat earlier this week about how a lot of our memories aren't appropriate to speak about in this setting, which shouldn't surprise any of you, so I'm sorry in advance. The farm was a special place that holds a lot of very happy memories. Nana and I would often go out to feed the cows and Nicky the horse apples. We would go for walks and find large leaves and feathers to collect. Nana and Jimmy had an above-ground pool with a ladder and a bucket of water to wash our feet. Nana loved to bring up how we would always fight over that bucket because it was warm. One year, Nana and Jimmy had baby ferrets. I loved these baby ferrets so much, I tried to smuggle one home in my suitcase. Nana would have let me too, if she wasn't too afraid of my mum's reaction. We would often get into fights, swearing at each other from a young age, as siblings do. Nana used to stick up for us to Mum and say, no, it's country talk. Whilst you're in the country, you're allowed to swear. Thais remembers Nan taking her to Rossie's farm, showing her how she cooks in the kitchen, going shopping in Albury, trying on dresses, and Nana often finding her in her room, trying on her clothes and jewellery. Nana used to give Thais lolly snakes when she was a toddler and hide her behind her bed, away from Dad and Carol, who didn't like giving her much sugar back then. Nana would always keep us well fed. She would make jelly slice, which Thais remembers well, and a large batch of rumbles, which she would give to Zach and say, Zach, you're in charge. He was very particular who and how many he would hand out. We remember the hot chicken and gravy rolls she would bring us by the water and the carefully laid out sandwich platters, which is a talent our cousin Paige has inherited. I used to call Dad every time I was eating her apple crumble or had a bowl of jelly, cream and custard just to rub it in, which Nan thought was hilarious. Nana was constantly feeding everyone, even our dog Reggie, who I am sure had an entire packet of Scotch finger biscuits, much to my husband's disgust. Josh remembers going up to stay with Nana and Jimmy on his own and being absolutely spoiled, and Nana always taking his side, saying, "Oh no, it was clearly not your fault." Everyone close to our Nana knew that she could turn any household item into a medical remedy, whether it was her aloe vera plant or vinegar on sunburn. She had something for everything. It was Nana who would hand out Synerga pneumonia like it was a miracle cure. I've inherited Nana's green thumb. I still remember the day she taught me how to plant a pot. My own veggie patch was a common phone topic whilst back in Melbourne. Nana was strong-willed even towards the end. She managed to tell me to shut up for dobbing her in with the ICU doctor about her shortness of breath, saying she'd never get out of there. Sorry, a story I'll never forget and will always be mortified that she shared at the dinner table with my best friend is that she had hopped in the bath when all of a sudden her private parts, she did not use those words, started burning. It turns out, instead of lavender oil, she put a generous amount of eucalyptus oil in the bath. Another memory, I'm sorry. A memory Zach will never forget.
That's
By the way, that one, I can't believe I'm about to say this story at her funeral. A memory Zach will never forget is when he was making the bed with Nana and about to leave back to Melbourne, and a condom wrapper fell out of his pocket. Hoping she didn't see, he stuffed it back in and left for home, and I am going to censor this story a little bit. Dad called a little while later and said, "Zach, I don't know what you've done, but Nana isn't happy and wants you to call her now." Zach calls Nana, scared she thinks he's been having sex in her bed. He tries to make excuses when she says, "Zach, I don't care if you've been having sex in the bed, go for it, but you know the number one rule here, no food in the bed." It turns out Zach's girlfriend had left a half-eaten plate of food on the bedside table. Speaking of food in beds, Josh remembers us all hiding under our doonas eating snacks and lollies, scared Nana will find out we're eating in our bedrooms. Nana would always tell me about how the time she used to see this tall hunk of a man walking down the street, she would whistle at him for a date. This giant spunk is none other than our Poppy Jim. Jim, your connection and love with Nana was something a lot of us girls dream about. Forever cuddling, dancing in the kitchen and letting us know that old people still love and we would go ill. You will always be Nana's sweetness. Lastly, we will forever miss the way you yelled, "Love you," down the driveway as we left for home. We will carry our memories with us forever, Nana. Rest in peace and we love you.
Thank you to all the grandchildren for sharing those special memories of their Nan, who was obviously very special, and she would be very proud of you all today. They say that children are the rainbow of life and grandchildren the pot of gold. There is also something about losing a mother. It is so hard to express. And it says that a mother holds her children's hands for a while, but their hearts forever. And as a special tribute for their mum, if I could now ask Michael and Cheryl to please come forward and say a few words. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Cheryl.
Yep. All right. I think the grandkids covered a lot of ground. Throughout my life, Mum has been my mentor, my medical advisor, my coach, my best friend, but above all, my mummy. I was very lucky to have grown up with her guiding me and being my biggest supporter. She taught me how to play netball. how to be a hard worker, how to ride horses, how to cook, and how to be the best mum to my girls. But the best was not only being coached, but I also got to play netball with Mum, which was a privilege. She won numerous premierships out at Canamatite and was respected by many. Not only was she respected in Canamatite for her netball skills, but also the blokes didn't mind her walking the greyhounds around the block in her bikinis and her wedges. Sorry, Jim. One thing I will be forever grateful for, Mum, was when I was really unwell and I was in Shep and was told there was nothing more they could do for me. Well, Mum was not having that. She was straight down and said, you put her in an ambulance and take her to Melbourne right now. And thank God she did, because it saved my life. Mum and Jimmy then became parents to 5-year-old Paige and a 3-month-old Kayla, as Darren worked shift work. So you can imagine being 55 years old and getting up in the middle of the night doing bottles and everything. So I thank you, Jim, and thank you, Mum. A memory I will never forget is that one day after school I went down to Thompson's Beach with my friends for a swim. Next thing, one of the girls said, Cheryl, your mum is here with another lady, which was Auntie Linny. And she said, they are sunbaking but topless. Thanks, Mum. Every day we talked on the phone, 7:30 every night. Even if it was just I love you and good night. I miss that so much already. Mum, I love you and miss you every day until we meet again and we can have those big long cuddles. I just want to say a big thank you to Cobham Regional Care on such a great job they did looking after Mum. I want to thank Jimmy so much. You're absolutely amazing. And also the support of my family at this hard time. Thank you, David. And I love you, Mum. That's all.
Mine's pretty short. Better put that down. Just for starters, Ros, Damien and the kids, thanks so much for having here at Rich Glen. Mum adored it here. It's all she spoke about. Absolutely just Rich Glen. But that was what she lived for, just coming here and working, and all the girls. She had a time of her life here. Just early memories. With football, netball and whatnot, watching Mum, she was one fiery woman. She just had it all on the court. And then me playing football, that's what she wanted me to do, just go hard, which I did. Food-wise, so all she did is give me
Black pudding.
Cook for me meals every time I come up here. Me and Jim. Every time we'd have a meal, the sweets would come about a minute later, and we'd have to tell her to pull up a little bit. Oh, I know. I don't know. Jimmy's going to have to learn to do whipped cream. That's all I can say. Just a couple little stories come to mind with Mum. One day playing football, got into a little bit of a to-do on the boundary line, and a couple of blokes were sort of having a crack, and next minute there's a woman stabbing him with her umbrella. She was pretty feisty, the old girl. And just another time, one day, me, Jimmy and Mum went to the cinemas at the golf club. We were watching a 3D movie. Mum decides to go to the toilet with the glasses on. She comes back and she goes, Michael, those new toilets, they're a bit weird. she went to the male toilets and was actually having a pee on the urinals. She was unbelievable. That's my mum. That was Mum. As far as a nana, she was so good to the kids. We used to go up there to Cobram East, and she'd cook, clean, look after them. If they got sunburnt, she was. She helped me through a lot. People talk about soulmates, and they say it pretty flippantly, but Mum and Jimmy, they really were. She absolutely adored Jim. Smiles on her face, the last we used to have. I used to light my life up. And to Jimmy, what you did for Mum for the last 30 odd years, she was so happy, absolutely adored you, which we all do. The kids, myself, Cheryl, you've been a second father to me, Jim. Love you, Mum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl and Michael. It's not easy to stand up here in front of you all at such an emotional time, so thank you for letting us glimpse into the more personal side of Mum's personality. As you all know, June was a true dedicated partner to Jim, sharing all of his joys, supporting him through thick and thin, and as Michael said, true soulmates. So, in honour of her role as a loving wife, it's my privilege to now ask her stepdaughter Wendy to present our final tribute on behalf of her dad. Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, we'd like to speak on behalf of Pa, who absolutely adored June. He starts with, I don't really remember a time when I didn't love June. Firstly, I loved her as a person, then as a friend, and eventually the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. She was my best friend.
When we got married, my life was complete. She was my everything and she lit up my world. Her smile was everything. I loved to make her laugh. We fitted so much into our life together. We fitted each other.
When we lived in our little farm at Cobram East, June was in her element. She loved having animals around her, from the chooks, her girls, our little horse Nicky, which she loved teaching all the grandchildren to ride, and of course Bronco, our beautiful boy. They were her babies and she talked to them all. I will always remember the fun times we had with the grandkids, and they loved to come out to the farm and collect the eggs with Nana, ride the horse, feed the steers, pick the fruit off the fruit trees and feed the ferrets. As long as they were doing it with Nan, they were happy, and so was she.
June worked at Otray Lodge running the kitchen while we were at Cobram East, and she loved her job and the people she worked with.
We spent the weekends going ferreting in the hills of Thuna and the river flats of Tokemore. We had a little place at Goffs Bay, and June loved to go down there as often as we could. We would take Swifty, the boat, out on the lake and fish and enjoy the serenity.
We always had a laugh when June needed to have a wee when we were out boating. The easiest thing to do was to jump into the water and then back into the boat. That's normal. But there was one problem. June never learnt to swim. So it was a production. We would have to put the life jacket on, and over the side I would lower her. She would do the business, and then I would have to haul her back in. God help me if I dropped her. It was always had us in hysterics.
We eventually built a house in Mulwala and moved there in 2004. We spent many happy hours on the lake and just enjoying life. We lost Bronco in the early years at Mulwala, and typically June wanted another dog. So Shep, another German Shepherd, joined the family. Just like all our animals, Shep was loved and spoilt by June, Scotch fingered biscuits being his favourite. Tathra was our favourite holiday destination for us. Over the mountain we would go for a few weeks, a couple of times a year, soaking up the sun and then home. June loved it.
June was always a busy person. She loved her time working at Rich Glen. She loved talking to people and was very social. She knew so many people that a 5-minute trip to the shops would turn into an hour, as she always bumped into someone for a chat.
She loved the op shops, as we all know. She would spend hours in them and drag everybody along with her. I remember a trip to Barnsdale to visit Wendy and Andy, and there were 9 op shops in the town. And yes, we visited every single one of them. She always managed to find a bargain and couldn't wait to show everybody what she had bought.
When June became unwell, my only concern was for her. I would have given anything to make her better. I hated to see her suffering. I am grateful that I got to spend so much time with her, talking to her, holding her hand and just loving her until the end.
June, you were the most amazing person I have ever known, and I am so lucky to have had the privilege to call you my wife. You will be in my heart forever. Fly free, darling. Love your sweetness. Love you. Thanks, darling.
Thank you to all family members today for speaking bravely and openly about June. And as our final reading, I would like to present the poem Her Journey's Just Begun, chosen by June's granddaughter Kayla. Don't think of her as gone away. Her journey's just begun. Life holds so many facets. This earth is only one. Just think of her as resting from the sorrows and the tears, in a place of warmth and comfort, where there are no days or years. Think how she must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of her as living in the hearts of those she touched. For nothing loved is ever lost, and she was loved so much. And I think today we've all felt the love for June here at Rich Glen. And today we've acknowledged our appreciation for the privilege of sharing a part of her life. She had been unwell for the last couple of years, spent some time in Wangaratta Hospital, as well as being cared for at home. Her health further declined 5 months ago when she was admitted to Cobram Regional Care, where she sadly passed away on the 19th of May, aged 79 years, surrounded by her loving family. On behalf of the family, and as mentioned by Cheryl, I would like to offer thanks to all staff from Cobram Regional Care for taking wonderful care of her, always treating her with respect and with dignity. Today has been a mixture of sorrow and of joy. Sorrow now at the time ahead without June, but joy to reflect on the many memories that she has left us. And I would now like to thank everyone for their attendance here at Rich Glen, as that does conclude this part of our service for June. And as you know, her burial will now follow, and we will proceed to the Mulwala Cemetery. At the conclusion of the service at the cemetery, the family invites you to join them for refreshments back here at Rich Glen, where you can continue to recall your special memories of her. And our closing song, Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, a beautiful romantic ballad chosen by Jim, reflecting his long-term love and devotion for June. So let us all now go in peace, support each other, be open to the healing power of all your memories, and please continue to enjoy the very precious gift of June's life. Thank you all once again for your attendance.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch along lonely time. time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. All you still more. Your love, God, speed your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me.